Hallo zusammen. Welcome to the second episode of Ask a German, which is me in this case, a video series in which I will reply to some of your questions and statements, comments. So, whoa, let's go. I think this is a German name, so I'm gonna pronounce it German. Florian Rohrer 468 says, a Fahrbahn is not a lane. Lanes are called Fahrspuren. The entirety of the lanes in one direction, on roads where the driving directions are separated, is the Fahrbahn. On other roads, such as Landstraßen, country roads, without separation, the Fahrbahn is the entirety of the lanes in both directions. Florian, first of all, thank you very much for your comment, and you're totally right. I totally messed that up. That was my fault. I'm sorry for that. On a side note, by the way, Florian commented this under a very old video of mine. As a content creator, I always appreciate when people also watch the older videos and not just the new ones. In German, you can distinguish between die Fahrspur, which is a single lane, and die Fahrbahn, which is multiple lanes going into the same direction. For instance, when we think about a highway, you can have multiple lanes right next to each other going into the same direction, forward for instance, you know? And those lanes, those Spuren leading into the same direction combined would be die Fahrbahn, which also means that you have two Fahrbahnen in the case of a highway, but when you think of a country road, die Landstraße, which by the way is the literal translation, the literal equivalent, you only have two lanes, one leading forward and one leading into the opposing direction that is. Both of them together are die Fahrbahn as a singular term. And Florian was goddamn right to point that out. Thank you very much. I also think this name could be German, so I'm gonna pronounce it German. Herb von der Au 4241 is asking, how about the name Johann? Is that used today? I have 5 or 6 ancestors with that name. Thank you very much for asking that interesting question, because with names, it's quite fascinating to me, especially also as a German, because there are multiple old-fashioned names, dare I say, like Johann, which is the German way of pronouncing that name, that have been so out of fashion, outdated for many, many years, but in recent years, there's a certain resurgence of them. And Johann is one of them. I wouldn't necessarily say that Johann is such a popular name that basically like every second boy today is named Johann. That is not the case, but you may as well find German families that name their boys Johann again. The same phenomenon applies to many other older German names, classic German names that is. For instance, Fritz for boys or Greta for girls. When you take a look at this graph, with Johann, in Germany it has been especially popular in the late 19th century, which is like the late 1800s that is. And especially like after like 1915, 20-ish, there has been a decline in the name with like some drastic, very drastic unpopularity, if I may say so. You will see that especially like in the 1960s and 70s, it was highly unlikely that German families would name their boys Johann. Certain names are evergreens and other names also are related to cultural developments and to society, and also different aspects of the Zeitgeist, der Zeitgeist, the time ghost or the time spirit in this case especially. Very interesting German term, which made it into the English language. Hooray! Then again, as you can see here as well, in recent years, especially in this century, names like Johann, Fritz, Greta, and many more, they have become popular again. Now, why that is, I don't really know. Names are really interesting in general. There are many, many English and or American names, surnames especially, that are derived from German, by the way. For instance, Zuckerberg, which means sugar mountain, translated literally, and Depp for der Depp, singular, die Deppen, plural, the imbecile. It's not a surname that you would like to have in Germany. Hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something new maybe. And with that said, thanks for watching everyone. Tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal. Definitely.